Greeting interwebs, it's Jack and K, and may I properly introduce you to a new playthrough. I'm not quite sure if it'd be redundant to say this is gonna be something pretty different for the channel, because it definitely is in a lot of ways. But I think a big thing might have actually been something I've done a long time ago, but I think I'm re-exploring. It's completely due to the nature of the game in hand. And that's like a pseudo live commentary, post-commentary hybrid. Majority of this is going to be post-com, and I'm not going to be reading out dialogue like I usually do for playthroughs. But as I'm playing through the game, I do have a live com track going, so if something notable happens in live commentary, I will be able to share it with you all in the process. Hence the pseudo post-live commentary hybrid. Also, I just realized this game's rated T for teen, and this may be a good time to bring it up. Because I do believe the imagery in this game is a part of the reason for that T rating, though it only comes up a small handful of times. And yes, this is gonna be one of those. If it's any assurance, I am one of those types of people that normally get turned away from games that get a little too graphic, but it didn't bother me going through the process of the game. So hopefully there's a little bit of assurance. But I figure, yeah, the warning is out there. I can only think of like 2, maybe 3 prominent times where it gets bad enough to be worth giving a warning, and yeah, so there's your warning. Tangenting back to the way that this game plays out, or more specifically how I'm handling the commentary for it, I think like I did the live commentary for the background, but mostly post in the foreground. See, that didn't even get as bad as I remember it being, and that is definitely one of the big 3. Point being, a major reason why I want to post-commentate this game is because this is a rhythm game. And I suck at rhythm games enough as is. And you may be going, Jacket K, if that's the case, why the heck are you less playing Mad Red Dead? At least if you know anything about the game. Well, dear viewer, even though you wouldn't think that this would typically be my genre, I do have some knack for the rhythm game genre despite not feeling confident in my skills in it. Like, I definitely enjoy the concept even though I haven't played too many games in it. The few main examples I can think of was a demo of a Game Freak game called Hamel Knight that I really got into, and Crypt of the Necro Dancer. And speaking of games with good music, case number 1 why I wanted to do something with this, big reason why I picked it up in general, just listen to this jam! Yeah, the game's just full of them. Actually, that's a big draw of the rhythm game genre to me. In order to have a good rhythm game, you gotta have good music, and I've always been a big fan of video game music. Like, it's hard to think of a video game that I like that didn't also have great music to it. In addition to the gameplay to this is incredibly unique, and I love it conceptually. In execution, we'll get to that later on in the commentary, but not bad enough to actually take away from it. It's a little hard to actually describe. A lot of my peers on the internet have described it as Crypt of the Necro Dancer, but as a 2D platformer, and I see where they're coming from, but I'm not quite sure how accurate that is. You'll see what I mean when we actually get into the game though. Why don't we do that? Now, I said I wasn't gonna read along, but it may be tempting not to do so because I did want to make sure that I leave enough time in the dialogue spreads for people to actually read along, especially if I'm not talking about it myself. Because I do want you all to take in this story if nothing else. Though, maybe we'll want to pay attention to what's going on in the dialogue for a couple of minutes. We just found out we died. We, as in the main character. If you can hear me, give me an answer. This can't be the end. Do you want to go on? And we actually get a say in the matter. Guess what option I went for? The dumb one. Okay then, this is it for you. Bye! Thank you for watching my Let's Play of Mad Wreck Dead, the speedrun edition. Just kidding. That was a cute little Val Muss moment, disguised as a little bit of a fake out. Gives me a little bit of vibes to that very beginning of Super Paper Mario. And because I'm dumb, thinking, but what happens if I choose it again? And it's literally just the same dialogue again. Thank you for watching my Let's Play of Mad Wreck Dead, and we've been over this joke already. I don't know. I think that was my first time actually pressing no, even on the playthrough I did on my own time. So I just had to make sure that we weren't missing out on anything. Now, before the story really starts to get rolling along, I did have a little bit more I wanted to say introducing this game that I didn't get a chance to squeeze into the intro. This game's story of all things is pretty good. I don't know if there's any sort of stigma with like music game genres and the writing that they have to them, but there's actually a lot going on with the story, and I'm pretty content with the writing in general. But I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. And don't worry, you didn't miss too much. Just confirmation that yeah, we're dead. We just died. Sad, pathetic, lonely lab rat life. Didn't do anything of significance. And maybe we'll find out who that mysterious voice that we were talking to a little bit ago is. I can't put my finger on it, but I hate that I have to say this out loud. This is the rat god. Apparently when rats die, they go to rat heaven, and the rat god greets them. Though the rat god seems to be hinting that this might not be the end of our game. I mean, again, it would be a very short game. If this was it. If this was game over. So as the rat god is inquiring about life as a lab rat. Talking, really digging into our regrets. Things I wish we did differently. It looks like the rat god has a proposition for our little rat friend here. That's what I'm saying. I'll let you relive your final day. Yes, it's a Groundhog Day syndrome sort of thing. Well, thinking more about it, Groundhog Day is a bit of a stretch. Not really, like, coming up with any better comparisons in my mind. I go more into why that is, but if I got that ahead of myself, I might as well grow a whole cabbage field. Why don't we just hear a little more about what the rat god exactly has in mind? Kinda slow, aren't you? Well, I mean, he did just die. Death does have that crippling effect of not being able to do diddly squat. It's almost like when you die, you cease to function. Or something. Anyone has a right to find happiness. No matter your dream, it'll come true if you wish hard enough. Dreams come true. Go to Disney World. Only fools convince themselves that they can't become winners. Anyone can achieve anything in life if they try hard enough. Wow, even with where we are, that's still way too cheesy. Despite all that though, that's apparently what our rat friend just needed to hear. Getting pep talked into believing in his wish. Believing that if he achieves his dream, he'll be able to die happy. And the proposition begins. Rat God's just about to show us a secret technique that'll allow our rat friend to fulfill his final wish. I don't know whether to call it a gimmick or what, but it comes up a couple times where we actually get prompted to actually put your paws on your chest. And you actually have to hold down the buttons. And this is solely for story purposes, more so than gameplay. But when Rat puts his paws on his chest, he can actually feel the music that we're listening to right now. And that's what gives him the strength to actually keep going forward, even though he's practically dying at the current state in time. Yeah, what we're actually seeing on screen now, I guess, according to what I'm interpreting the lore as, he actually sees in here as well. And tapping along to the music is what gives the strength. I kinda said that right. But that's kinda how... But in case you didn't figure it out yet, that's the basis of how the gameplay works. Every time those notes, or the lines, line up with his heart, you have to tap a button, and that's how you get movement in the game. You can ignore them if you just want to stay still, but you really need, in order to really build up combo, make movements and all that, you're going to want to try to press as many notes as possible. But getting a tiny bit ahead of ourselves. Since this is the first level of the game is not shy in tutorial hand-holding you throughout the entire process. But dang, did they got some good tutorial music to go along with it. And if you're ever curious to actually play this level proper without Rat God explaining how everything works and all the arrows on the screen, you can actually pick this level from the level select once you beat it, and actually play it proper from the beginning, and actually get the full feel of the song. So as you're seeing, main movement is with tapping the A button along to the beat. And yeah, you do have to do it accurately, as you're seeing here. Thank you, Past Me, for demonstrating things and totally doing that intentionally. Now, I'm not sure if it's just me, but I find myself needing as much movement as I can get out of these steps. So once I learned how to hold down the L stick, I never let go. Never found a reason not to let go. Thankfully, the game has a wide variety of movement options, so it's not just tapping A and holding down the stick the entire time. That we're introduced to one at a time, so we have plenty of time to learn, and visually shown on screen, so anyone paying attention catches on immediately. In fact, why don't we check in on my past self to see just how well I'm processing this information. What do they mean by charge my energy? Oh my god, did I really go through this entire game without knowing that? No wonder I struggle with this game so much on my own. Let me see. I gotta see this for myself. Hold down the X. Really? I missed that part of the game? Oh, and of course the charge has to be done in rhythm too. This is a little awkward. Oh my god. How did I even get through that tutorial without actually knowing about the freaking charge? No wonder I struggled with it for so freaking long. But really? It's not even letting me jump. Oh my god. It's a stall too. It's a freaking air stall too. Oh my god. This is why I wanted to have the live part of the commentary. Oof. Oh my god, this literally changes everything I've been doing with this game up to this point. And I'm like, past the halfway point. And I'm only now on my own time, and only now realizing you can charge like that. Oh my god. Yeah! Somehow, I got past that part of the tutorial just with well-timed A-dashes. Never picked up on the fact that I had to press X to charge and then release to clear the gap, and then proceeded to go through the rest of the game up to everything I've played on my own time without knowing about the fact I can press X to basically not only extend my dash, but also air stall. My god, would that have made some parts of the game so much easier. Though I kind of said something about the game if, like, I was able to, like, get through that part of the game without even realizing it. And I'm kind of curious to double check the playthrough that I saw that introduced me to this game, see if they even use that X command at all. In the midst of my shocks and revelation, I completely glanced over the fact that, yeah, you do have a jump button in this game, and it can be combined with your dash to clear obstacles that the ability to frickin' press X wouldn't be able to. Like that, oh my god. Can you imagine I going for that area without knowing that I could just press frickin' X? Okay, this is part of the little force. Like, eventually she's gonna stop us to actually teach us about wall jumping, but I feel like they waited a little too long. They could have, like, popped this up, like, 2 seconds sooner. Unless, like, I was just, like, supposed to be on the ground and somehow I didn't trigger the flag to activate that scene because I was in the air for so long. I'm sure it's something. But yeah, like, the cool part about this game, if I didn't get a chance to get it out of my mouth before, is the fact that you have all these various movement options while playing a rhythm game. Cause from my experiences, a lot of times with rhythm games, you're kind of just on a set path, and clearing is just a matter of just tapping along to the music enough. You don't have to coordinate like dodging obstacles and platforming, like real platforming on top of that. And I'm not gonna lie, it does work to the game's detriment sometimes, as well as to its benefit. But don't worry, we'll have plenty of opportunities to talk about both. Speaking of fun movement options, we just got introduced to the ability to press Y to just drop down right away. It's like Sonic Stomp in Unleash. I don't know why Sonic Unleash in particular comes to mind, but isn't something you see in various games. Not exactly what you see here. Oh man. And speaking, here comes my least favorite mechanic in Mad Red Dead. Not the nightmare enemies. It's how we have to defeat these nightmares to progress. And you know how she's saying, hold your hands and make a wish? Oh man, you really have to quote-unquote make a wish a lot when doing it. That is the power of a wish. You tap B to jump, and if you're close enough to the enemy, maybe you'll lock onto it and attack it. And maybe it'll be on rhythm, and maybe it won't be on rhythm. And I'm sure that's not gonna screw me over at all in this playthrough. Periods of times when I do a homing attack, think that I'm close enough to an enemy to lock on and home them in, and like fall to my death or something like that. Or, oh my god. We'll come back to the homing attack when it's relevant. We're finally getting introduced to the main consequence, I guess we can call it. The main thing that actually makes the game a game and not just a musical experience. We are timed. Though the timer is not in seconds, it's in beats. Every time we go through a beat, where we tap the button or not, that time limit will go down 1. And we have to get to the goal of every level within that quote-unquote time limit. If we don't, it's game over and you gotta do the level all the way from the beginning. It's both scarier than it looks and not as scary as it looks. Like, they only put on the timer for this level at the literal end of the level, so it doesn't really give you an idea of how quickly you can go through that timer. If you know what you're doing, you're never really at risk of getting a game over. But if you're like me, there's some levels where you push that time limit to its limit. But overall, it's a fairly generous timer. You're not gonna start running into problems until you start running into obstacles. And we'll go into that when the obstacles become more of a threat, and I actually show off one of the main gimmicks of this game. But right now, we're about to learn about Mad Rat's true wish. Revenge against humanity! Yay! Our hero! Mood. So, in case you missed this plot synopsis on the review sites and the hypothetical manual this game would have was a physical game in the 90s, Mad Rat is a rat that's about to die, gets to relive his final day to grant his true wish, and his big wish is that he wants to kill the scientist that killed him at the beginning of the game, fulfilling revenge, and when he gets that revenge, it'll give him the satisfaction to be able to die happy. So, yeah. Did I mention this game's rated T for teen? Our little rat friend may not be the friendliest of friend rats. But despite that, Rat God seems to be willing to still teach the big secret of being able to relive his last day. So once again, we're gonna put our hand in our heart, and while we're going through that process, I think it's a good time to bring up something I forgot to mention the last time this happened. There's a lot of HD rumble implemented into that. Like, I don't think I can really show it, I can just only tell. But for that beginning sequence, like, you definitely, like, feel the heartbeat and the beat in general. Not sure how it plays out on other controllers, but every controller has rumble these days, so I assume that plays into part of it. So, what's the big secret to reliving the game? Apparently, if you put your heart to your chest and tell your chest that you want to go back and relive your last day, you do just that. Apparently, through the power of a wish, you can turn back time. Literally. What a ruthless heart, by the way. So yeah, time to do the time warp again. Take a blast to the past. What other time analogies can I throw while I'm just waiting for the dialogue to catch up to my commentary? Let's make the rat dream come true. That's why we're controlling him, I suppose. And I hope you like this heart icon, because we are going to see it a lot throughout the adventure. Alright, listen carefully. See this heart clock? You turn back time by rewinding it. You literally just spin the control stick and you can turn back time a little bit. Oh yeah, they're showing us right now. Yeah, just a little bit earlier before, us going through the level, when we died, and even further back. Back to the beginning. This is the beginning, and also the end, of a story of a rat that may even be a little mad. And also Larry dead. You could say he's a mad rat dead. You can turn back time, but your fate remains unchanged, no matter what. At the end of the day, the rat will die. So, what are we gonna do about it? Guess we'll find out. Our adventure truly begins in the next episode. Until then, I've been Jackie K, and I hope to see you all later. Take care.